we've got some shit to talk about today. If you guys follow my Twitter, you probably saw that I just went on like this mad rampage against Sia. Because this bitch, the audacity of this bitch, I just like, I felt really bad to some degree because at first I was like, oh, she doesn't understand. But apparently she very much understands what's going on. Yeah, so Sia made this, I assume she's making a movie because it hasn't come out yet. And the main character, I believe, is named Music. And Music here, let me pull up her Twitter page really quick so we can go through this together. So I'm not leaving you guys in the dark. Boom. So the main character is named Music, and Music is autistic. And she did not hire an autistic person to play Music. So that's kind of what this is about. So this says, the news you've been waiting for, Music the movie, written and directed by Sia, starring Kate Hudson, Leslie Odom Jr., and Maddie Ziegler, will be arriving in early 2021. Maddie Ziegler plays Music, who is not autistic, and Sia made quite a few choice words, to be honest. So this person is responding to the trailer, right? So this person responds and says, this is totally unacceptable and there are no excuses. You should know better than to allow able-bodied and neurotypical to represent the disabled community. It's incredibly offensive, as is the infantilization of the character. Sickened and not even captioned. Don't release this. She responds by saying, I actually tried working with a beautiful young girl, nonverbal, on the spectrum, and she found it unpleasant and stressful, so that's why I cast Maddie. And then this person responds, okay, but that's worse. You know that's worse, right? Like, this is literally, as we're going to scroll through these tweets, you're just going to see, like, the fire just gets worse. And it's just one of these things where, like, I'll say this, right? I don't have family members that are autistic, but I do have friends that are autistic. So I don't deal with any of that, like, on a personal, like, in my family level. And so for me, it was really hard for me to understand. So I had to learn through my friends about what it means to be autistic and like how things are the same and how things are different and how stigmas are wrong and all this kind of stuff. And it takes time, and I'm still obviously learning. And I think that it's something I'm only going to get better at with time, which is exciting. So seeing something like this that now I can recognize is so blatantly like inappropriate is really, really cool. And I like that, although this shit is not good. So this is where the rabbit hole's beginning. So this here is, again, another response to this, and this person says, this is cripping up and it's really gross. If you want to tell stories about disabled people, pay disabled people to tell the story. And she goes, I hired plenty of special abilities kids. I'm willing to be misunderstood because I think this movie does more good than harm. And so Sia is essentially just being like, no, that doesn't matter, which it should not be the case if you're trying to make some kind of like woke movie, which is what she was trying to do. Yes, I'm seeing that hashtag, nothing about us without us. It's a very important thing. And she unfortunately was just kind of like, fuck that, and I'll be fine. But this lovely person here says, hi Sia, can I ask why you didn't cast a disabled actor for this part? It's pretty offensive the way you tried to portray this character. And she just goes, I agree. I've never referred to Music as disabled. Special abilities is what I've always said, and casting someone at her level of functioning... Oh, there's what I was looking for. Casting someone at her level of functioning was cruel, not kind. So I made the executive decision that we would do our best to lovingly represent the community. There's the tweet I was looking for. There we go. That's one of them. Yeah, that's right, guys. So according to this, casting someone who is autistic to play an autistic person with that level of functioning is cruel, not kind. So I wanted to show you guys that. I'm happy we found that so quickly. But it literally is going to get worse from here. But I feel like this is something that is important to speak on because it's weird how she's doubling down versus, I just saying I'm sorry and be like, it's not ready yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of time to change that, you know, to be like, hey, I fucked up. You know, like, I didn't know. Thank you. It's really not that hard to find an autistic actor if you fucking try. Good call. They also assumed an autistic would be incapable of doing the job because of pressures, which, as you guys saw, was what she said earlier in that other tweet that we just looked at. And then she goes, not an assumption, an experience. But yeah, so she doubles down on this again. It's not an assumption, it's an experience that whoever she theoretically hired to play this role was incapable. It's just, like, it makes me uncomfy a little bit, no? Perhaps just me. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's this too. So Helen here goes, hi, I'm an actually autistic professional actress that could have been cast and hired on short notice. I once acted in a film the same day I was contacted. So this reasoning is 100% false. The fact that they did not want to hire an actor with autism, hashtag nothing about us without us. And she responds, I'm sorry we were never introduced. My character was pretty low functioning, and after attempting a few actors on the spectrum, they suggested I use Maddie. Now, as we know already from the other tweet, she said she made the executive decision to make a loving representation. We're not even at the tweets that totally pissed people off yet, because there's like 2 screenshots floating around of her just being absolutely fucking vile in a little bit. We're not even there yet, guys. Like, I just, what the fuck? So, yeah, she can't stop getting worse and worse. Honestly, she can't. And we're going to keep going where it gets worse. All right. So now it's, perhaps you might consider your own prejudices leading you to describe autistic people as suffering. Inspiration porn is harmful and marginalized population. So that's referring to like the whole glorification of like, if you wake up in the morning thing, it's like, oh my God, congratulations, you woke up this morning. Like you wouldn't say that to someone who is able-bodied or whatever. So why would you say that to someone who is autistic? And this idea that this video is essentially glorifying that this autistic character is going to do something great and overcome their autism. That's kind of like what it is. It's just not like it just leaves a gross feeling in your mouth. I think that's the right wording. So this person goes, your tweets have really encapsulated the whole problem. Autistic people do not bring their families or carers to suffering. In fact, it's often caregivers who cause harm to disabled people. Autistic people need to be allowed to tell their own stories, not this garbage. So Sia goes, I think maybe you should just see the film. I think you may think it's something it isn't. Respectfully yours, Sia. This is going to be like the last time this bitch was respectful before she gets like angry, okay? And this person goes, yet another one without autistic input. Disappointed in Sia. I thought you'd be more progressive and edgy than this. I'm autistic, but an artist too. Creating work on disability without disabled input is ableist and dismissive, no matter about good intentions. So she responds and goes, I'm sad and confused that you think I didn't research and utilize my friends on the spectrum. So many assumptions. I hope you love the film. It's beautiful. Hey Blair, I'm trying to understand the issue here. Is the issue situations like the movie Radio starring Cuba Gooding Jr., where an, apologies if I butchered terms here, able-bodied person play a special needs person? Yeah, so the thing is that there are a lot of actors and actresses that are on the spectrum, that have a wide variety of whatever, and that Hollywood instead will cast someone who is perfectly able-bodied, and whatever, instead of like consulting someone who's actually part of that community, and actually just living their lives being that type of person. And the problem is when you have someone who's totally just able-bodied, neurotypical, whatever, you can't, like, it's very difficult to understand like the small nuances that bring the character from being something flat and like 2D to being someone that is an actual relatable character to people in that community. So it's basically like a white person trying to play a black character. Now she's still trying to like fight people on it, and then you can just kind of see that she's just like, this is bullshit and blah 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 blah, and this movie is beautiful and can't wait for you to see the film. And this person says, you're ignorant, or an ignorant twat and a disgrace to the disabled community, get in the bin. She's just like, this is pretty cruel and judgmental. I'm like, really, sis? Like, it's not really judgmental. And this is because, look at this, November 13th, so about a week ago-ish, she retweets from Autism Speaks, confirming the involvement, that today is World Kindness Day. Yeah, right, isn't it? You just face in palm. Just face in the motherfucking palm, just boom. can just see this. If you really want to promote kindness, I'd encourage you to look into autistic-led autism organization to support. Asan is who I've donated to, and I'm probably going to keep donating to them so long as they remain unproblematic. They're a good charity if you guys want to actually donate to a good autistic charity. Do I really want to go there? Let's see, what trash is Autism Speaks up to? Just for the heck of it. Autism Speaks was not... Oh my god, look, they answered! Autism Speaks was not involved in the casting or production of the film music. Representation matters. We believe autistic actors should always be given opportunities to play autistic characters. Interesting. And yet you actively contributed to and continue to perpetuate the narrative that non-speaking autistics are broken, helpless, and incompetent burdens. A myth which she also is perpetuating by claiming they can't act and it would be cruel to have them as actors. Oh, motherfucker, what? Let me like that. Love that. Okay, so then she says the character music is based on a close friend of mine. That's the first and only time she mentions that, just for the record. None of you have seen it. It's such a bummer. I love Maddie Ziegler, don't get me wrong, but you need to consult actual autistic people and have autistic people play autistic people. And she goes, I did try. It felt more compassionate to use Maddie. That was my call. So again, flip-flopping on before when she blamed somebody else. Now the blame is back on her again. So this is one of the screenshots that is getting passed around. So this person is, it's a mighty shame that someone with such a colossal platform is using it to exclude disabled and neurodiverse actors from their own narratives. I've been a long-time fan of your work, so this is really disappointing. So she goes, I cast 13 neurotypical people, 3 trans folk, and not as fucking prostitutes or drug addicts, but as doctors, nurses, and singers. Fucking sad nobody's even seen the dang movie. My heart has always been in the right place. Now, here's another level of bullshit. I believe it's in response to this. But calling someone fucking prostitutes or drug addicts also sucks for anyone who is in recovery. And I believe someone called it out. I think it's this person. Am I wrong? Okay, it looks like everyone's calling them out, so I can't even remember which one it is. But just wanted to say, doctors, nurses, and singers can be sex workers and drug addicts as well. Sex work isn't and shouldn't be shameful, and drug addictions is a disorder. Again, nothing to be ashamed of. Please do seek help if you're in this situation. Someone else saying, so you decided to double down and be anti-sex worker and judge addicts. This is embarrassing for you at this point. You should have apologized for doing things the way you did, but instead you're defending it with, but it's my art. Do not attack Maddie Ziegler. Don't even attack Sia. She's getting enough. Like, she's like, they're either going to learn from this or they won't. It's not Maddie's fault that she got cast. Like, yes, she did take it, and maybe she did or did not understand the situation. I don't know, but attacking someone is not the right answer, because when you attack somebody, they will just shut down and dismiss you for being combative, right? So if you actually want someone to like understand where you're coming from, you have to be firm but kind, right? If you're going after someone aggressively, they're just gonna block you and stuff, you know, like, you're a piece of shit, you know, all this, like, it's not gonna work. Like, who's gonna listen to that? You just called me a piece of shit. Why should I listen to anything you have to say? So just don't attack people. But it is important that if you're going to state your point of view, things like this, like how they're saying, like, you know, you decided to double down, like, this is not okay, like, that kind of stuff is making the point clear, but not overstepping into attacking people territory. And I understand it's very easy to get emotionally charged and just want to just go after these people at the throat, but that solves nothing. Okay, so now she makes this tweet. Grr, fuckity fuck. Why don't you watch my film before you judge it? Fury. It's just so uncomfy. So yeah, so then she makes this tweet unprompted. It's still on her page, obviously, as you guys can tell. And it's just, girl, this isn't the fucking look you want. As someone who was a huge fan of you, unless you take actual steps to fix this and not just make a basic apology, I can't morally support you anymore. And I know and hope a lot of people feel this way. Boom. Agreed. Are you serious? Autistic people are telling you their very valid feelings and you're mad because they haven't watched your movie yet. Would you watch something that mocked you? The way Maddie portrayed autistic people is upsetting. Why not hire a real autistic person? Again, there we go. Important. I'm autistic, always have been a huge fan of your work. This is incredibly disappointing. I'm hurt by your response, and this is very self-centered, childish, and harmful. Fuckity fuck, I'm sure your film is amazing, but think for how it feels for 1 second to someone with autism to see your comments. You researched 3 years, congratulations, our research for my son will be a lifetime. Okay, here's this other tweet right here. So there we go. Boom, 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 boom. Here's the big angry tweet. Now we can all get angry together. So, several autistic actors, myself included, responded to these tweets. We all said we could have acted in it on short notice. These excuses are just that, excuses. The fact of the matter is 0 effort was made to include anyone who is actually autistic. Nothing about us without us. And Sia goes, maybe you're just a bad actor. So that's something I actually did discuss, just briefly touched on in my video about women and autism, how some people believe that women cannot have autism, which is completely a lie, and it's called masking. That's right, Rose, spot on. And it's called masking, which is essentially that you don't want to appear different or anything, so you are hiding a lot of how you actually feel, act, emote, all that kind of stuff, in an attempt to blend in with everybody else around you. It's called masking, and it is impressive, let me just say. Like, that is a difficult thing to do. A lot of people mask. And that's part of the reason why for women it's also much more difficult to diagnose them, is because women are very good at masking. That's part of the reason why I guess it becomes more difficult. And that does not make anyone a bad actor, though. So especially with saying you couldn't find an autistic female actor, when women who have autism tend to be able to mask better, means that they're even better at acting. So it's just kind of like, it's just like this collective sigh of like, why are you like this? Like if you did even a modicum of research, and she claims she did 3 to 4 years of research and couldn't figure this out, I just have to go like, are you sure about that? Like, are you sure you understand? Because it doesn't sound like you did. It just sounds like you are making up bullshit to try and justify your fucky wuckies right now. And that's not okay. So why would it be cruel, not kind, to cast someone at her level of functioning, so to speak? So this person's trying to be very like, they're trying to be like, hey, you know, I'm trying to like root for you here and you're making it real fucking hard. And she's just found it extremely stressful and overwhelming. Duh, I spent 3 fucking years researching. That's why I'm so fucking bummed. Like, where is the research? That's all I want. Bullshit. Absolutely, Sammy. Where is that research? I don't know, sis. We're looking for it too. I just don't fucking get it. So, and that was not her last tweet. I'm 90% sure she deleted tweets, but okay. She spent 3 years researching. That's apparently the last thing that she has said, and then went totally silent. Your fear.